At my engagement party, a woman I'd never met walked through the door and every head turned. My fiancée went white. She was beautiful, confident, and wearing a dress that showed a very visible baby bump. Before anyone could react, she walked straight to the microphone we'd set up for toasts and said loud enough for all 150 guests to hear, "Congratulations on your engagement, Daniel. I thought you'd want everyone to know I'm 6 months pregnant with your child." The room erupted. My fiancé couldn't speak. His mother fainted. But then my maid of honor stood up, pulled out her phone, and said something that made the woman's face drain of all color. "That's interesting, because I've been following your Instagram for 6 months, and you've been documenting your entire surrogate pregnancy for your sister." Hey everyone, I'm Julia Reeves, I'm 29 years old, and I'm about to tell you the most chaotic, shocking, and ultimately revealing story about my engagement party, a pregnancy announcement that wasn't what it seemed, and the moment I discovered that my future mother-in-law had been orchestrating a plan to destroy my relationship for months. This happened 4 months ago, and the fallout is still unfolding. So buckle up, because this story has more layers than anyone expected, including me. Let me set the scene properly, because context matters. I met my fiancé, Daniel Chen, 3 years ago. He's 31, works as an architect, and is honestly one of the kindest, most genuine men I've ever met. We clicked immediately. 6 months of dating turned into moving in together. 2 years together turned into a proposal on a beach in Greece. It was perfect. Well, almost perfect. The one complication in our relationship has always been his mother, Margaret Chen. Margaret is 58, a former corporate executive who retired early and now spends her time managing her son's life. Or trying to. She's elegant, sophisticated, and has never thought any woman was good enough for Daniel. She certainly didn't think I was good enough. I'm a high school art teacher. I love my job. I love working with kids, helping them express creativity, watching them discover their artistic voice. But to Margaret, teaching was a low-status career with a mediocre income. "You're marrying below your potential," she told Daniel more than once in front of me. "You could have a lawyer, a doctor, someone who matches your success." Daniel always defended me. "I love Julia. Her career doesn't matter." "Everything matters," Margaret would say cryptically. Despite her disapproval, we got engaged. Daniel proposed, I said yes, and we planned an engagement party for early November. Margaret insisted on hosting it at her country club. "As mother of the groom, it's my responsibility," she said. Translation, she wanted control. We agreed, mostly to keep the peace. The guest list included our families, close friends, and Daniel's colleagues. About 150 people total. The party was scheduled for a Saturday evening. Cocktail hour, dinner, toasts, dancing. Very traditional, very elegant. Very Margaret. That day, I spent the afternoon getting ready with my best friend and maid of honor, Sophie. Sophie is a lawyer, brutally smart, and has been my best friend since college. "Are you nervous?" Sophie asked while doing my makeup. "A little. Margaret's been weird lately. More critical than usual." Define more critical. Last week, she told Daniel he should reconsider the engagement. Said he was making a mistake marrying someone so common. Sophie stopped applying mascara. She said that. Yeah. Daniel shut her down, but still. It's been tense. "Want me to accidentally spill wine on her tonight?" I laughed. Tempting, but no. We arrived at the country club at 6 p.m. The venue looked beautiful, white roses, string lights, elegant table settings. Margaret had done an impressive job with the decorations, I had to admit. Daniel was already there with his father, Robert, and his younger sister, Melissa. Robert was kind, quiet, and clearly intimidated by his wife. Melissa was 26, sweet, and had always been nice to me. "You look stunning," Daniel said, kissing me. "Thanks. You clean up pretty well yourself." Guests started arriving. My parents, my siblings, Sophie and her husband, Daniel's friends and colleagues. Everyone mingling, drinking champagne, congratulating us. At 7 p.m., we moved into the main ballroom for dinner. Margaret had arranged a traditional setup, head table for immediate family, toasts after dinner, dancing later. Dinner was lovely. The food was excellent. Conversations flowed. I started to relax. Maybe Margaret's disapproval wouldn't ruin the night after all. Then, at 8 p.m., right after dessert was served, the doors to the ballroom opened. A woman walked in. Late 20s, tall, dark hair, striking features. She was wearing a form-fitting dress that showed an unmistakable baby bump. The room went quiet. Everyone turned to look. I'd never seen this woman before in my life. But the look on Daniel's face told me he had. He'd gone completely white. His hands gripped the table. He looked like he was going to be sick. The woman walked through the ballroom with purpose. People whispered. Someone muttered, "Who is that?" She walked straight to the small stage area where we'd set up a microphone for toasts. She picked up the mic. "Hi everyone," she said, her voice amplified through the speakers. "Sorry to interrupt. My name is Natalie Harper. I'm Daniel's ex-girlfriend." Gasps rippled through the room. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. Daniel stood up. "Natalie, what are you?" "I thought everyone should know," she continued, looking directly at me, "that I'm 6 months pregnant. With Daniel's baby." The room erupted. People started talking loudly. Some stood up. I heard my mother gasp. My father started to rise from his chair. Margaret stood up from the head table. But she didn't look shocked. She looked satisfied. That's when I knew. Daniel was shaking his head. "That's not possible." "Natalie, why are you?" "Not possible?" Natalie put her hand on her belly. "I'm literally standing here pregnant, Daniel. The baby is yours. We slept together 6 months ago. Do the math. We broke up 2 years ago. I haven't seen you since. That's what you want everyone to believe. But we both know the truth." I was frozen. I couldn't move. Couldn't speak. This couldn't be happening. Then Sophie stood up. My brilliant, fearless, attorney best friend stood up and pulled out her phone. "That's interesting," Sophie said loudly, walking toward Natalie. "Because I've been following your Instagram account for 6 months." Natalie's confident expression faltered. "What?" "Your Instagram. Natalie Harper Life. You've been documenting your entire pregnancy journey. Very touching posts about becoming a mother." "So? That proves I'm pregnant." "It does. But it also shows something else." Sophie held up her phone, showing the screen to nearby guests. "You've been documenting your journey as a surrogate for your sister, who can't carry a pregnancy herself." Natalie's face went from confident to pale in seconds. Sophie continued, pulling up posts. "Here's a post from 4 months ago. So blessed to be able to give my sister the gift of motherhood. Being a surrogate is the most beautiful experience." And another from 3 months ago, halfway through this surrogate journey. "Can't wait to meet my nephew in January." Sophie turned to face the room. Natalie Harper is pregnant. But not with Daniel's baby. She's carrying her sister's baby as a surrogate. Every single post on her Instagram documents this. She's not having Daniel's child. She's having her sister and brother-in-law's child. The room went silent for a different reason now. Everyone's staring at Natalie. Natalie's mouth opened and closed. That's not. Would you like me to project your Instagram posts on the screen?" Sophie asked. "Because I've already taken screenshots. Including the ones where you tag your sister, Emily, and her husband, David, as the parents-to-be." Natalie looked at Margaret. And in that moment, everyone saw it. The way she looked at Margaret for guidance. For instruction. Sophie saw it too. "Oh my God. Margaret put you up to this." Margaret stood up, composed. "That's ridiculous. I don't even know this woman." "Really?" Sophie pulled up more screenshots. Because Natalie's Instagram shows a recent photo at a coffee shop tagged "Great Conversation with Dee's Mom About the Future." Posted 3 weeks ago. She showed the photo. Natalie and Margaret sitting together at a cafe, clearly in deep conversation. The room was stunned silent. I found my voice. "Margaret. Did you orchestrate this?" "I have no idea what you're talking about." Daniel was staring at his mother with a look I'd never seen before. "Mom. Tell me you didn't do this." "Daniel, I was trying to protect you." "Protect me from what?" "From being happy. From making a mistake." Margaret's composure cracked. "She's not right for you. She's a teacher. She has no ambition, no sophistication, no family connections. You could do so much better." "So you hired my ex-girlfriend to crash our engagement party and claim she's pregnant with my baby?" "I didn't hire her. I just suggested that if she wanted to win you back, now would be the time to make a grand gesture." Sophie laughed. Actually laughed. "You told her to fake a pregnancy announcement at an engagement party? Are you insane?" Natalie started backing toward the door. "I should go." "Stay right there," my father said, standing up. "He's 6 feet 3 inches and former military. When he speaks, people listen. Someone needs to explain what's happening here. Now." Natalie looked terrified. "Mrs. Chen called me 3 weeks ago. Said Daniel was making a mistake marrying Julia. Said if I still cared about him, I should do something to stop the wedding. She suggested I could use my pregnancy to my advantage, make it seem like it was his baby. Cause enough doubt to break them up." "And you agreed to this?" I asked. She said Daniel still loved me. That he was only with you because I'd broken his heart and he'd settled. She said if I gave him an excuse to leave, he'd come back to me. Daniel looked devastated. Natalie, we broke up 2 years ago because you cheated on me. I moved on. I fell in love with Julia. I was never coming back to you. I know that now, Natalie said, crying. I'm sorry. I was stupid. Mrs. Chen was very convincing. Margaret tried to leave. Robert grabbed her arm. You're not going anywhere until we sort this out. Robert, let go of me. No. Margaret, what did you do? She pulled free. I did what was necessary. Our son is throwing his life away on a nobody. I refuse to stand by and watch him ruin his future. I'm not a nobody, I said quietly. Surprisingly calm. I'm a teacher. I help shape young minds. I make a difference in kids' lives every single day. Maybe that doesn't impress you, but it matters. You have no connections, no money, no status. I have integrity. Which is more than I can say for you. The room was watching us like a tennis match. Daniel stepped between us. Mom, you've crossed every possible line. You hired my ex to fake a pregnancy announcement to ruin my engagement. You manipulated Natalie. You humiliated Julia in front of everyone we know. You tried to destroy my relationship because you don't approve of who I love. I'm your mother. I know what's best for you. No, you don't. You know what would make you look good. What would impress your country club friends. But you have no idea what makes me happy. And Julia makes me happy. Margaret looked around the room. At the guests staring at her with judgment. At her husband looking at her with disappointment. At her daughter looking at her with disgust. Daniel, please. I was trying to help. You need to leave. Now. This is my party. I planned this. And you used it to stage a fake scandal to break up my engagement. Leave. Before I have security escort you out. Margaret grabbed her purse. Looked at Natalie. You were supposed to be more convincing. You were supposed to be honest, Natalie shot back. You told me he still loved me. You lied. Margaret left without another word. Robert followed her, shaking his head. Natalie turned to me. I'm really sorry. For all of this. I was desperate and stupid and Margaret made it all sound so reasonable. I know that's not an excuse. But I'm sorry. Just go, I said. She left. The room was still silent. 150 people staring at us. Then Sophie raised her champagne glass. Well, that was eventful. But the most important thing is that Daniel and Julia are still engaged, still in love, and now everyone knows that Margaret Chen is completely unhinged. To the happy couple. People laughed. The tension broke. Someone started clapping. Then everyone was applauding. My father hugged me. You okay, sweetheart? I think so. Daniel pulled me aside. Julia, I'm so sorry. I had no idea she was planning this. I swear I haven't seen or spoken to Natalie in 2 years. This was all my mother's manipulation. I know. Sophie's Instagram detective work made that pretty clear. Do you still want to marry me? After this disaster? Your mother's crazy. That's not your fault. But it's my family. Families are complicated. Mine has issues too. But we're not marrying our families. We're marrying each other. He kissed me. I love you. I love you too. Sophie appeared with fresh champagne. So, should I prepare to press charges against Margaret? Because I definitely could. Let's just get through tonight first, I said. The party continued. Weirdly, after the drama, everyone seemed more relaxed. People came up to us expressing support. Several of Margaret's own friends told Daniel they'd always thought she was a bit much. My mother-in-law's best friend even said, Margaret's been getting worse over the years. This might be the wake-up call she needs. Melissa, Daniel's sister, apologized profusely. I had no idea Mom was planning this. If I'd known, I would have stopped her. I like you, Julia. I think you're great for Daniel. Thanks, Melissa. That means a lot. The next day, Sunday, was a disaster. Margaret called Daniel 16 times. He didn't answer. She showed up at our apartment. He didn't let her in. Robert called and apologized. I'm so embarrassed. Margaret's always been controlling, but this crossed every line. I'm staying at a hotel. I think we need some space from each other. Are you guys splitting up? Daniel asked. I don't know. But I can't be with someone who would do what she did last night. I raised you to be a good man. She tried to destroy your happiness for her own ego. Over the next few weeks, the fallout continued. Natalie sent a formal apology letter. She'd checked herself into therapy. Her sister, Emily, called to apologize too, horrified that her surrogate sister had been manipulated into such a scheme. Margaret was quietly asked to step down from several volunteer positions at the country club. Word had spread about what she'd done, and people were appalled. She tried to blame me. Posted on Facebook about how I'd turned her son against her and destroyed her family. Her friends didn't buy it. Several commented telling her to take responsibility for her actions. Daniel and I postponed the wedding. Not because of doubts, because we needed time to process everything and rebuild family dynamics. Robert did separate from Margaret. He moved into his own apartment. Said he needed to figure out if he wanted to stay married to someone capable of such manipulation. Margaret tried to attend Thanksgiving dinner at Melissa's house. Melissa told her she wasn't welcome until she genuinely apologized to me. Margaret refused. Spent Thanksgiving alone. In January, she finally reached out. Not to me, to Daniel. Asked if she could talk to me privately. I agreed to meet her. At a neutral location, a coffee shop. Sophie insisted on coming with me and sitting at a nearby table just in case. Margaret looked smaller. Older. Humbled. Julia, I owe you an apology. Yes, you do. I was wrong. About everything. I let my own insecurities and snobbery cloud my judgment. You make Daniel happy. That should have been all that mattered. Instead, I tried to sabotage your relationship because you didn't fit my idea of who he should marry. You hired his ex-girlfriend to fake a pregnancy announcement. I didn't hire her. But yes, I manipulated her into doing it. That was cruel and unconscionable. I've spent the past 3 months in therapy trying to understand why I thought that was acceptable behavior. And I've realized I've been trying to control Daniel's life because I can't control my own. I married young, had kids young, built my identity around being a perfect corporate wife and mother. When I retired, I lost my purpose. So I made Daniel my purpose. Tried to orchestrate his life like a project. That was wrong. It was. I'm asking if you can forgive me. Not right now. But someday. I want to be part of Daniel's life. Which means being part of your life. But I understand if you can't trust me. I looked at her. Saw genuine remorse for the first time. I'll think about it. But Margaret, if you ever try to manipulate or control our relationship again, you're done. No second chances. No explanations. Just done. I understand. And you need to apologize to Natalie too. You took advantage of her vulnerability. I already did. I called her last week. She was gracious about it, which I didn't deserve. Okay. We didn't hug. Didn't make promises. But it was a start. 4 months later, now, things are slowly improving. Margaret's been respectful. Keeps her opinions to herself. Asks permission before visiting. Doesn't criticize my career or our choices. Robert moved back in with her after she completed 6 months of therapy. They're working on their marriage. Daniel and I set a new wedding date, this summer. Small ceremony, close friends and family only. No country club. No elaborate party. Just us and the people who actually support us. Margaret's invited. On probation. One wrong move and she's out. Sophie's still my maid of honor. And she's promised to have her phone ready to fact-check any uninvited guests. As for Natalie, she had her sister's baby in January, a healthy boy. She sent us a card apologizing again and saying she'd learned valuable lessons about desperation and manipulation. We sent a polite response wishing her well. The engagement party disaster became legendary among our friends. Remember when Daniel's mom hired his ex to fake a pregnancy announcement? It's become a cautionary tale about overbearing in-laws. But honestly, I'm grateful it happened. Not for the drama, that sucked. But because it forced everything into the open. Margaret's manipulation, Daniel's unwavering support for me, the strength of our relationship, the loyalty of our friends. Sophie's Instagram detective work became legendary. She's joked about starting a side business, pre-wedding background checks on suspicious party guests. And me. I learned that sometimes the biggest threats to your relationship aren't from within the relationship itself. They're from people outside it who can't accept your choices. Margaret's disapproval didn't break us. Her manipulation didn't destroy our engagement. Because Daniel and I built our relationship on trust, communication, and genuine love. Everything else is just noise. So that's my story. The engagement party crashed by a fake pregnancy announcement orchestrated by my future mother-in-law. Exposed by my brilliant best friend and her Instagram deep dive skills. Would I have preferred a normal, drama-free engagement party? Absolutely. But did the chaos reveal the truth about who really supports us and who doesn't? Also yes. And in the end, that truth was worth the temporary humiliation. So thanks, Margaret, for the wake-up call. And thanks, Sophie, for the receipts. We're getting married in June. And this time, the only people invited are the ones who want us to succeed.